Hello everyone, it's your girl Bella B. Thank you for tuning back into my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that everyone's family is doing well. In this video, it's going to be tailored towards Maryland State residents who have student loan debt. I'm not sure if you ever heard of the Maryland Higher Education Commission, but in this video, I'm going to describe the tax credit, the tax benefit that Maryland State residents who have student loan debt are eligible for. So if you want to learn more about that, if you know anyone who lives in Maryland, or if you yourself are eligible for this tax credit, please stay tuned for my video. Okay, so I'm just going to get straight into it and let you know the who, what, when, where, why, how, everything you need to know, everything you need to have when you preparing your documents, and everything that goes into it. So just follow along. If you need to take notes, I'm also going to link a link in the description box below so that you're able to review this information yourself so that way you can get a better understanding. So this is just going to be a video about information on how to obtain the tax credit. I actually was eligible for the tax credit last year, so that's why I'm able to do this video now to help other Maryland residents, because when I was trying to find out more information on this tax credit, I wasn't really able to find anything on the web. I was only able to find stuff on the actual website. So I was like, well, let me make a video just in case someone else like me comes to YouTube to search for it to get a better understanding of something and just be able to relate to someone who actually went through the process. So since I went through the process, I'm just gonna explain the process that I went through, and then that way if you have any questions or comments or something that's not on the website that you want to explain to you, you can definitely drop a comment below. I'll definitely reply and give you a better understanding of what I went through during that time. So the first thing to take away, let's just make sure that you're eligible for the award. So you have to be a Maryland taxpaying resident for the entire year. So the year that's coming up, the next taxable year is 2020. So you have to be a Maryland state resident paying Maryland state taxes for the entire year of 2020. So as long as your income taxes, the state you're filing, is in Maryland for the whole time, then you'll meet that eligibility requirement. You have to have at least $20,000, had accrued $20,000 in student loan debt throughout the lifetime that you attended college. So let's say you had $15,000 in student loans, and then you accrued $5,000 of interest over time, you reach that 20K mark. So you would be eligible. Now let's say you let's say you had 15K in student loans, you accrued $5,000 in interest, so you made it to the 20K mark, but now you only have to pay $13,000 back because you paid down some of your student loans. You're still eligible. As long as there's a remaining balance of at least $5K, you're eligible for this tax credit. So that's eligibility number 1 and number 2. The application opens up on July 1st and closes on September 15th. I would advise that you complete the application as close to July 1st that you possibly can. So basically on July 1st at I think it opens at 8 a.m. or if it's not 8 a.m. it's like 8:30. But it opens early in the morning, but it definitely wasn't open at 6 o'clock when I initially tried to do it, because as soon as I woke up, I had my alarm set, I had my reminder set. I'm like, yes, I'm submitting this application because I need assistance with these student loans, and I don't want to miss out on this opportunity to receive some free funding to help me pay down my student loan debt. I was like, this is really a great initiative. And so I made sure I got up early. I had written down all the documents I needed. I started gathering the documents I needed beforehand, before the application was actually due. That's why I'm making this video now, so that way everyone has time to obtain the documents that they need to be able to complete the application. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to make sure I submit everything on July 1st. I went through this whole process, completed the paper application, this and that, just to find out that you had to do the application online, and that the application I turned in was the previous year application, and they were not accepting that. So I'm like, But thankfully, I got it in early. I was able to receive that feedback early, so I was still able to submit my application before the application window closed. So just in case you guys run into that problem, you don't necessarily have all the correct paperwork, they will be in contact with you and they will let you know. So they do actually communicate with you. It's actually real people reviewing this information. So that's great and that's wonderful. So that's why I definitely recommend getting the information in early so you can get that feedback if you miss a document, if one of your documents is not correct, if you need to add something else, if they need some more proof or anything like that. Also, another myth was that it was only for undergraduate student loans. Now, I'm not exactly sure how it was when the process first started. I'm not exactly sure if it was only for undergraduate student loans in the beginning, but now it's inclusive for undergraduate student loans and graduate student loans. And there's no cap on how much it had to be from undergraduate for you to qualify or how much it had to be for graduate for you to qualify, but now it's just both all together. So as long as it's over that 20K mark and you have at least $5,000 left, you'll be able to qualify for the student loan debt tax credit. I'll get more into that at the close to the end of the video. I just want to spit out the information right now that you need to be able to qualify for it, the information you need to be able to apply for it. So you will need to make a Maryland one-stop account and it will walk you through the process. It's really easy. It's just like your name and your email, password, a basic initial account setup. So it's nothing too complicated, nothing too fancy. Once you do that, you'll actually need to do the actual application. And the time range states that it ranges from 10 to 30 minutes. I probably did it in like 7 minutes, but everyone probably won't be as fast or as slow. Some people probably can do it in like 4 minutes. Some people it might take the whole 30 minutes. Who knows? But it doesn't matter how long it takes, just as long as you submit the application. I'm not sure if you can start the application and then go back and then edit it, but I think they recommend that you do it all in one sitting. I recommend that you do it all in one sitting just to get it out of the way, because you don't want to worry about, oh, I didn't put this on there, I have to go back later and do this. You just want to just get it off your mind, make sure you have everything and all the documents in order. Now I'm going to go over the documentation that you need in addition to the application itself. So you're going to need your Maryland State tax return from the previous year. So for this, it will be the 2019 tax year. You will need your tax return because they're going to base your debt to income ratio based off of what you made last year and how much student loans you still have left now. So that's why you need your MD tax return. And for the purposes of this video, it's going to be the 2019 tax return. And then also you are going to need your transcripts from the schools that you attended. Any school that you attended and obtained student loans from, you will need the transcripts, official or unofficial. A lot of the schools now work with Parchment and another online service where you can obtain the transcripts in there, like an instant download. It does range from like approximately like $8 to like $20. It didn't cost me too much to get my transcripts from both of the schools that I attended, and so that wasn't too bad. And they were like instant downloads. Like I wouldn't even say I had to wait 30 minutes for it to come. Like it came super fast. So it was really good, and I would recommend hopefully that your school has it online and that they work with one of those services so you can get it faster. If not, it'll take a little while to get it, maybe like 7 to 10 business days. I'm not exactly sure. You would have to consult your school, but getting the transcript definitely wasn't the hard part. You will also need your student loan servicer information. So you will need to, I don't know if you have Nelnet, Fed Loan, Sallie Mae, whoever your student loan servicer is, you will need to get your student loan documents, and they will need to have your account number on there, your name on there, and when the student loans were issued, and the student loan account number as well, to verify when the student loans were issued, what institution they were issued to. It doesn't necessarily say that, but the dates will correspond for when you attended the college and when the student loan was dispersed. And you also need that to be able to prove that you actually obtained these student loans when you're saying that you did, and that's why you're eligible for the tax credit. So they just need that to verify it, and make sure that the document that you receive from your lender has your name on it, your first and your last name, because you definitely will need that. So basically they do it like off a priority list. not necessarily like a first come first serve basis. So they base it off of if you did not receive a tax credit from last year, then you will be higher up on the list to receive one for this year. If you attended an in-state institution, then this will also be a priority on the list, so this will move you further up on the list. And if you qualify for in-state tuition at the school that you went to, so they basically go hand in hand, because if you went to an in-state school and you are a Maryland resident, then you would qualify for in-state tuition, so that kind of goes hand in hand, but they have it as two separate criteria. So I just wanted to state both of those. And then, as I was saying earlier, they also do it with the debt to income ratio. So if you have a higher debt burden to the actual income you make, that also moves you up on the list. Now, I'm not saying that any of these criteria necessarily guarantee you for funding. It does not necessarily guarantee that you will be eligible for funding or that you will receive the funding, but it does move you up on the list. Now, let's talk dollars and cents. So it can give you up to $5,000 relief credit. And what that means is, so on your Maryland income taxes that you'll complete for the following year, so the year coming up, the year that the tax credit is eligible, you will be able to get up to $5,000. So it can be anywhere from 0 to $5,000. And $5,000 is definitely not bad to contribute significantly to your student loan debt burden. And so the application does not take that long, so I definitely recommend, like, if you think you're eligible, if you may be eligible, I definitely recommend that you apply. It does not take that long to complete, and it does not cost you too much to complete it. The application itself is free, but you may have to obtain your transcripts, which is like basically the only fee that's accrued by this, because you can do everything online, so you don't even have to pay for an envelope and stamps now. So I definitely recommend submitting the application at least. Yes, you can really get up to like $5,000, and who's just giving out $5,000 now? Now, I'm not saying that you're gonna get the $5,000. I don't know how they determine who gets the $5,000. I didn't get $5,000, but what I got definitely was more than nothing, you know? And so then the last step in the whole process is you have to wait. So it takes between 90 and 135 days for them to process your application. And so please do not sit there by your email and by the mail waiting for this to come in every day. If you do get accepted and approved and everything, and you do qualify for the tax credit relief, then they will send you something in the mail. I'm not exactly sure if they sent me something electronically before it came in the mail, but they will send you papers in the mail stating how much you will get and the paperwork you need to submit with your tax return for the next year to have the tax credit put onto your tax return. And so if you were eligible for a $1,000 tax return in Maryland, and then you qualify for the $5,000 in tax relief, your Maryland state tax return will be $6,000. And so that's how you get the money. They just add it on to your tax return. So that's how, like, they're not putting the cash necessarily in your hand, but they're definitely putting like the cash in your bank account, but with the respects that you will use it to pay your student loans down. And so with that being said, the last step would be to actually use the funding to pay your student loans down. And you have up to 2 years to do this. And then after those 2 years, if you don't pay it back, they're going to tax you, like they're going to take the money back from you. Like they'll take the money back. So you have up to 2 years to pay it down. And if you don't pay it down, then they're going to take the money back. So it just makes sense to pay the money. Well, I did, like, when mine came in, I paid it as soon as I got it, because I'm like, well, every day I'm sitting here, the student loans are just accruing interest. So if I'm supposed to use this money to pay my student loans, I'm just using this money to pay my student loans, because I didn't want to have to deal with it down the line. And luckily I did pay it when I did, because now we're in a global pandemic. Other than that, everything was like really smooth. But you have to submit it. Now, you don't have to submit it in one lump sum. So if you get the $5,000, you can say, okay, my student loan payments are $500 a month. I'm going to pay the $500, like my regular student loan payment of $500 a month. And then I'm going to send it to Maryland, showing them that I paid the $500 a month for 10 months, which would equal your $5,000 that you received in the tax credit. And then they would be able to correspond that, and you'll show them, you'll submit the documents the same way you submitted the application on that website. They'll send you something, you'll just submit it, and then they'll either email you back and say, we received your documents are insufficient, or we received your documents and your documents are sufficient, you have completed your obligation. So the first time when I submitted my application to prove that I made the necessary payments, I didn't have all the necessary information on my document that I submitted from my servicer. And so I contacted my servicer and asked them for the proper documentation, which it took them weeks to do. So by the time they actually did email me something, which was not what I asked for, I had already figured out a way to send it to Maryland, so that way I was able to get the requirements satisfied. So I was like, I'm not about to go back and forth with these people at the student loan company. I just was over it. So I'm like, whatever, because I had to call them twice. It was just too much. It was a whole mess. And so just make sure you stay on top of it. Make sure you're checking your email, and make sure that after you submit your payment, that you submit it to Maryland too, because if you don't show them that you made the payment, they're not going to contact your student loan servicer for you and say, hey, we paid the $5,000 that she was supposed to pay within the last 2 years because we gave her a tax credit to pay $5,000 and we didn't receive any documentation. No, they're not going to be on your back. They're going to take that $5K back, and they're going to be like, no, you should have paid it when you had the opportunity to pay it. Now you're probably going to have to pay penalties and stuff on that money. So just pay it when you're supposed to pay it. Please submit your documentations. If you have any questions about the documentation you need to submit, please leave a comment below. Reach out to me and let me know, because I'll definitely help you and assist you through the process. If you have any other questions, leave a comment below. And I had one more thing to tell you guys, and it slipped my mind. Shit. So I'm going to leave it in the description box below. Thank you guys for tuning in to my video. And if you have any other questions or you need any assistance, please let me know. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you guys for tuning into my video. And if you liked it, please like and subscribe. And thank you guys, and you all have a good day.